Yes lads, I'm back with another BO4 list. Now I know what you're thinking. Tom, can you just fuck off? How many of these shitty lists have you done? And I agree, but I reflect on them and I think they could be more accurate or better explained. Also, with me stepping away from the game, I feel like I can look on these past years with more wisdom. um, Now, this list are the 20 players I consider top tier in order based on their peak years. Now, when I consider what makes a top-tier Pubstomper, I'm taking into consideration many factors. Map awareness, gun skill, reaction times, COD IQ, do they rely on OP weapons, can they play solo, can they play sweats, do they camp to perform, or do they actually challenge gunfights, are they good at multiple modes, are they an actual fast player, or do they just use the micro because it's so broken it bails them out in situations they should die. If they were actually good, they would be able to play that fast with other guns too. But more importantly than any of that is, can they do stuff almost all other players can't do? I've based this list purely on how good or impressive these guys were at their peak. Now obviously if their peak was in earlier years or achieved with considerably less time played, it's actually far more impressive because it's 10 times harder to be the first to do something than it is to copy. It's also 100 times harder and more impressive to be a top tier player after 20 days played than 200 or 300 days played, but I haven't factored that into the ranking. That's why I've excluded players who only played year 1, as being good in year 1 is 10 times more impressive than being good in year 4, 5, 6, 7, etc, and ranking them on their peak would be stupid. I've also not factored in whether players played on Xim Apex or Matrix, even though I think being a controller is far more impressive than being good on Xim Apex or Xim Matrix from my own personal experience. I've also not included 2026 because I have no idea who's good now, but I doubt much has changed. People will claim to have massively improved, despite there being very little difference. Oh, and finally, before I reveal this list, if you're not on the list and I've heard of you, you may be a good player, you may be a bad player, but you're not a top tier player. And you certainly are not close to the top 9 or so players on this list, as those 9 are different level. I have no biases. If you were better, I'd just say so, and I guarantee I've thought this through more than you have. These players achieved more and do more impressive things than you do, so I don't need to hear your crying. And if I've not heard of you, it'll be because you aren't even good, or maybe you're on Xbox. Now, starting up, the best BO4 Pubs player of all time is Joska from 2021 to 2022. He's first because in his prime, he was genuinely different level to everyone else. He's the best player I've played with by far. He had the best 2-man stat account, he had the best solo stats by far. To remind people, he had a 12.5 KD, 850 score per minute, and 50 win-loss at 20k kills, while staying every lobby, and he didn't even use the micro or the Hades. He has some of the best aim in pubs I've seen. I've watched him nuke sweats with the SOG. He's the fastest player I've played with. He's good at every mode. He's great against sweats. He's genuinely the only teammate I've ever had in BO4 who I thought at the time I'm massively inferior to this player in comparison. Because yeah, I might have carried him many games, but if this guy was playing his best, he'd have a 20 KD and 1000 score per minute every single match, no matter the opposition. In second place, I have Selusi in 2025. Now, I mean, the gameplay speaks for itself, but this guy has been doing things in pubs I didn't even believe were possible. Aim, movement, decision making is all genuinely off the charts. The fact he can play that fast against sweats and barely die is something that is truly special, because I know how hard it is to play sweats when you push like that. And I know some critics will say it's easier to master one map, which is absolutely true, but that's why I've put him second. But this guy's level is so much higher than basically everyone else, to not appreciate that would just be stupid, even with him being on Xim. At number 3, I have Realcy from 2019 till 2020. Now, coming back to the theme of players who can do things other players can't do, I'm yet to see another player get feeds with the accuracy that Realcy had. His montages are genuinely another level. I tried to pub stomp lobbies in 2-mans to the level many players in this list can, and I could actually do that no problem. What I could never do was replicate clips like Realcy. A completely different level of aim. He had an account with 1000 SPM, Maddox only, with a 43% accuracy, which is truly special, so that's why he's here. At number 4, I've got Koresh from 2024 to 2025. He's almost as good at Nuketown as Selusi, and he's on controller. He can play sweats better than almost anyone, he can hold crazy stats, and he is good in every mode as well. He was also good in earlier years, but these years I think he reached another level. At number 5, I have Cries from 2022 to 2023. Firstly, in free-for-all, this guy has no competition. He was the best by far, which earns a high placing in itself. And he's also extremely good at TDM. His gameplay in his streams and videos speaks for itself. He plays so smart, and denying how good he is just a dumb look in my opinion, because I'd love to see his critics gameplay alongside his. At number 6 I have Trimates in 2020. This guy I used to watch live on Twitch, nuke pretty much every game. For the last few months of year 2 he was averaging 17 KD and 1000 score per minute in 2 or 3 mans every week. He was also the first player to properly perfect Nuketown. He had a crazy COD IQ. He also played 6 mans on that account, which he had a 25 KD and 1200 score per minute, which is just ridiculous. He also used to play sweats in 6-man parties on stream while he was solo and destroy them. And this guy was great to other modes too. He was just the complete all-round package. At number 7 I have Loris from 2023 till 2025. Now Loris has always been very good, but in these years I think he reached another level. He had a 10 KD with high score per minute and win-loss in reg TDM. He's extremely good at every other mode too. His aim, movement and IQ are all unbelievable. Most of the time this guy is not even trying and he's dominating, but when he's trying he's undoubtedly one of the best. At number 8 I have Afi from 2021 to 2022. This guy is one of the most consistent players I've ever played with. He could play every single mode and just destroy anyone. He was great against noobs, great against sweats. He generally performed every match. Had maybe the best mini-map awareness I've seen and fantastic aim. At number 9 we have Beam TBE from 2021 to 2022. This guy was one of the absolute best. He had the best NA stats on PSN, with good stats in every mode. He played fast, he barely ever died, had super accurate aim, was really good at free-for-all too. He was a very special player. At number 10 we have Arazite from 2024 to 2025. If you had told me 4 years ago I'd be saying this today, I'd have laughed it off. But it's impossible to deny. His dedication to the grind paid off and he improved massively. This guy could hold really good stats even in the shittiest of TDM lobbies. He plays really smart, he has good aim, map awareness. He now plays without panicking when things go wrong. And yeah, I respect it highly. That all being said, he was funnier when he was a streamer. At number 11 we have Misia in 2023. Now this guy was always one of the best in Nuketown, but he got even better in this year. He was running around with the Cordite nuking sweats whilst making it look easy. He's a fast player with good aim and exceptional map awareness and COD IQ. Now, at number 12 we have Fatboy Tom from 2021 to 2022, exclusively when I was on controller. You could add I was quite good in 2023 on some Apex, but not quite the same player. The reason I don't include later years is because in 2024 and 2025, I barely played PUBS. On top of that, I took so many 4, 5, 6, 7 month breaks in the last 4 years, which makes consistency almost impossible. Then again, I still did stuff like 5 KD, 7 underscore per minute in the TDM, Maddox only, in very toxic year 6 lobbies. And other cool stuff that others can't do. Now, I can already see your comments flying in. What embarrassing list to include yourself amongst these names. So let me explain. In 2021 to 2022, whilst on default controller, mostly with awful unplayable internet, on a wireless connection, I regularly played with all the best Pubstompers on PSN, and I never got carried. In fact, I was usually top of the scoreboard. My only true rival for score and gun kills at the time was Joska. I maintained an 850 score per minute in TDM without the SPM dropping in regular team deathmatch long term, which nobody else on PlayStation was doing at the time. In Kill Confirmed, I had a 9 KD with 960 score per minute without the Micro or Hades, and using only 1 or 0 lethal streaks, despite giving literally 0 shits about KD. I was never a Nuketown player, but then I played Nuketown for about 4 months, for just a few hours each week, and I ended up with the highest score per minute in Hardpoint on PSN, with 1,200 at 6k kills. I was getting 2-minute nukes on a weekly basis, and I even had 2 nukes in under 2 minutes. I've nuked many 3, 4 and 5 KD sweats. I've nuked a comp player, I've nuked a 6-man in TDM, I've nuked a 6-man in Nuketown. 6 shit ones, but still, it's still impressive. I've had 87 kills in TDM solo with 1 lethal. I've had 80 kills solo non-lethal, in TDM, which is probably a world record, but I'm not sure. I have the world record for a TDM 10 game average for KD without giving a shit about KD again. It was a 48 KD while simultaneously having a ridiculous 1500 score per minute 10 game average in arms race, and was attained with 1 lethal while staying against everyone, with some games being 2-man, some games solo. I've had 70 plus kills in 2-man TDM with Pubstompers who were using double lethals on at least 7 occasions when I was only using 1 lethal. Yeah, Tom, okay, world record, nice, but arms race is no skill. Okay, but I also had a 38 KD 10 game average in Reg TDM with an 1000 score per minute 10 game average at the same time. I've also had crazy comebacks, including an 18 to 80 in TDM in a 2-man. I've also had some of the fastest games ever, such as 2600 score per minute games in arms race, 1900 score per minute games on Nuketown TDM, 1800 score per minutes on Nuketown Hardpoint, 1700 score per minute games on Firing Range Grind TDM. I've also had a 1600 score per minute 10 game average in arms race, 1100 score per minute 10 game average in Reg TDM, and a 1400 score per minute 10 game average in Hardpoint. When me and Josca played 2-man TDM back in the day, the games would regularly end in 4 minutes. It was just something else. Easily the fastest 2-man duo in TDM this game has seen. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Tom, on your main account you have a 3 win-loss. And I mean, like I said, I don't really care about stats. I just have them. If I searched solo, I used to leave every late join. If I was bored, I would leave. Every time, if I'd had enough of the game that day, I would leave. If I was on a 50 KD and died to a seeker drone, I would leave. If someone invited me to play and I was 5 kills away from the win, I would leave. And I'd actually be fascinated to know how many actual losses I took on my main account. But anyway, I've had multiple 200 or 300 win streaks on that account, staying every lobby on good maps, whilst playing in 2-mans with players better than me, or many times worse than me. Playing sweats on a good map for me was no problem at all. I used to play with players who had 100 win-loss, and I'd play with them in a 2-man and carry them every game, so I don't think win-loss on an account is a defining metric of skill. Despite this, I also had 2 other accounts where I had a 50 win-loss with the only losses just being solo games or blue screens. So yeah, I did all of that, and then I switched to Xim. And within 2 days of playtime in pubs, I was already holding the stats I had on controller on Xim, so and getting fast nukes and carrying Pubstompers and all that good stuff. Then I took about a 5-month break or something, came back to the game for a couple of weeks, and then it was arms race week. In that week I held a 15 EKAD, 13.5 KD, and a 1150 score per minute in arms race with 8,000 kills whilst using only 1 lethal. And I did it playing solo or 2-man while staying versus all the sweats that I came up against. And I didn't lose a single game in that week. Again, without using the Hades or the Micro. So yeah, all of that is why I think I deserve a spot on this list. At 13th place, we have KGX in 2022. This was Afi's duo. I used to play against this guy in solo TDM, and he was pretty good. And then, in this year, he became something special. He had a 15 KD playing in a 2-man, and he just didn't die, no matter who you played against. He used Rampart Comsec against Sweats, and they just couldn't kill him. And he just had exceptional map awareness. At 14th place, I've got Twist, or Zoe WM, whoever you know him, in 2022 to 2023. This guy was the king of rushing versus Sweats on Nuketown back in the day, and he was on controller. Was basically the only trashing Sweats YouTuber back then, displaying actual skill and map awareness in his videos. He was also the best player at 6v6 Nuketown, consistently getting the most score and damage in those games. But honestly, I don't know why I said all that, because he's actually higher up in this list under another name. A truly special player. At number 15 we have Drimzy in 2020 and 2021. This was the guy that basically started the trend of people using the Corda in Nuketown. He would run around with stem shot and drop fast nukes basically every game while reading chat. He had super accurate aim, COD IQ and map awareness, and yeah, This meant in year 2 he had the most nukes by far in EU. At number 16 we have CPG Red, also known as Mist, in 2022. This guy at his best was unbelievable. I wish he had made a montage because he was one of the fastest players ever and had some of the best aim you'll ever see. He would get beautiful feeds with the Maddox or Sog every game, and if he had ever gone for stats when he was good, he would have had top stats, no problem. He was great at Nuketown, great at TDM, and just an absolute joy to play with. At number 17 we have Centrify in 2021 and 2022. Now he's known for his time on BO3, but is actually underrated in the BO4 community. This guy was one of the absolute best at solo Nuketown, would consistently beat parties solo just using the VMP or Cordite. He just played the game with extreme intelligence, and I believe he had a higher average damage in hardpoint or domination than anyone else in the community at the time. At number 18 we have Legendary Noble in 2025. I first played with this guy last year after Joska telling me he was really good, and I didn't believe him because what kind of player gets good in 2025? I was so wrong. This is undoubtedly one of the best players I've played with. He just pushes non-stop and wipes teams with ease. He's good against sweats, he's great at TDM, and he's even better at Nuketown. He has the gun skill, he has the map awareness, he has the COD IQ, and if you think he doesn't deserve this spot, I promise you, you have zero clue what you're on about. I believe he's known for using the zero glitch, but like I played with him many times when he wasn't using it for many games, and he performs exactly the same. At number 19 we have Neirboz from 2020 till 2022. Now this guy is one of the best players I've ever played with. Pretty much never has a bad game, always gets loads of score, loads of kills, his aim is elite, his map awareness is brilliant. He had some of the best stats in this game, but that didn't even impress me. It was his consistency at just dominating matches. Trust me, if you played with this guy, you would guaranteed to be impressed. At number 20 we have Nizy, or also known as Nameless, in 2025. The Italian player. This is another guy who's played for a while and just simply stepped up his game. In his videos it's easy to tell his map awareness, movement and aim is all top level. He knows how to rush against sweats and dominate lobbies in TDM. My only advice to this guy would be to stop obsessing over movement, as too much movement can get you killed at times. If he changes that, he could actually just be like the next Koresh. And finally I have one extra. At number 21 we have NotThrilling in 2025. Another player who has massively stepped up his PUBS game and is just too good to leave out. He's now rushing every game and barely dying, and basically never misses his shots, and has elite movement and map awareness. And yeah, that is all. Those are the 21 top tier Pubstompers I've seen on BO4 in year 2 and beyond. If you are mentioned on this list, don't stress about your position. I know 1,000 Pubstompers and only 21 are being included. So being included is just a massive compliment. And thank you very much for watching, lads. Put your own opinions in the comments, and later, fuckers.